Boom, and we are live. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga Live. We have a packed show today. As always, we're going to be talking about Tesla, going into Tesla earnings on Wednesday, how people are going out there trading Tesla options into earnings. We'll talk about some different strategies there. We'll talk about the overall market. Another nice bounce back day after a good day on Friday, following, of course, last Wednesday's CPI print. We've been watching that CME watch tool, seeing what the odds are that the Fed decides to hike that full percent. We are now down to just 30%. If you recall, after Wednesday's CPI print, that number went all the way up to 80%. The street was estimating or kind of expecting that full basis point hike. And now we've kind of dropped down to 75 points. So good news there for equities traders. We'll be talking about, of course, the new Nancy Pelosi trade. Been big news all over financial Twitter and Reddit and whatnot. Is Nancy Pelosi and her husband Paul Pelosi's new trade. So we'll be talking about that. We will be talking about what's going on in the clean energy stocks after Manchin kind of shot down that bill last week. We have Jason from Trendspider joining us at around here in about 15 minutes at 11:45 a.m. Eastern. So Jason will be joining us. We'll be talking some charts with Jason. If you've got any stocks, any charts you want to check out, bring them for that segment. Let me go ahead and get my Benzinga Pro pulled up. We will do a quick run through of the overall market right now, all the biggest equities, and of course, our indices. And if there are any stocks, trades, anything like that you guys want to check out, of course, today, as always, drop them in the chat. Let's see. We've got about 164 people watching. I'm sure more people will file in as we get going today. But go ahead and smash the like if you have not already. So I just pulled up my Benzinga Pro. Looks like I have Netflix pulled up from the last time we were live. Your S&P 500 up about 0.7% today. We'll go over to the Qs up about 1.2%. So a great day for the Qs. Your Dow Industrial Average, your laggard today, up only about 0.5%. So strength is in tech. Strength is in growth. We'll check that out with ARKK today, up more than 3%. Check out your Netflixes up. Shit. Netflix is up 5% after a great day on Friday too. Finally getting some love down here at Netflix. We're still, look at the chart. It's not like we've gotten anywhere. If you're FOMO and Netflix right now, just look at this chart. You haven't missed out on anything yet. We came all the way down from highs in the 700s down to around 160. So we're getting back up here to the $200 level. If we clear 200, Netflix does have this kind of gap to fill eventually, but I just don't know when that will happen, how quickly that will happen. Quantum's checking out Tesla. We will again today be looking at Tesla. Tesla reports earnings on Wednesday. It will be sorry, that's Netflix again. Oh, Netflix reports tomorrow after the close. So Netflix actually reports before Tesla. Tesla reports Wednesday after market. Let's go to a 5-minute chart here so we can get some of the intraday action here. You can see we reached out to these highs we hit earlier, and we've kind of been trading lower off those the past 20 minutes or so. But if you're day trading Tesla, I wouldn't be worried about this until we kind of clear some of these levels. So we'll keep watching Tesla throughout the day. Quantum saying cannabis looking good. Yeah, and we have news here too on cannabis that politicians, they might get ready to start looking for a bill. Check out MSOS. We'll check it out on a daily. You can see potentially here we may have hit a bottom where we're bouncing off of. But this thing is still in a downtrend, right? This isn't enough for me to say, okay, now MSOS has reversed, or we're about to be swinging up. This thing going from $40 last July, so a year ago. We're looking at exactly a year here, 44 to 11. This thing has just gotten absolutely smoked, absolutely hammered. But if you haven't been in cannabis at all and you're looking to start building a position, now might not be the worst time. If you've been in this, you're down bad. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be adding to my cannabis positions if you're already down 70, 80% in them. But if you've never had any investments into cannabis and you've been looking and you think, okay, now might be the time. Sure. MOS at $10 to me, or at 11.50 is a deal. I mean, look, this thing got all the way up to $55 at its height in February 2021. And at that point, yeah, I mean, we were looking at a different landscape where growth and all these industries that were further down the line were getting a lot of love. That's when Kathy was kind of at her highs. But we've had a big drawdown since then. And I'm just looking at it. And you can look at any of the biggest players in the space, whether you're looking at your Tilrays, whether you're looking at your Canopy Growths. What is Canopy Growth? Canopy CGC, Canopy Growth Corporation. I mean, this thing, look at this, 56 down to 250. This thing was $56 February 2021, down to $2. So now, I mean, you got to think, like, if you've never been in Canopy, that $2.50 isn't your worst chance to get in, up 10% today. Man, I mean, that's not a bad move. All right, guys, let's go ahead and roll that intro for the day. We will get some, again, Jason from Trendspider will be joining us here in about 5 minutes. We'll be running through some charts with Jason. Excited for that. And as always, if you've got any tickers, coins, anything you're watching in the chat, let me know. Let's get some more participation there. Yeah, federal legalization on the horizon. That's definitely been what's been pushing these pot stocks higher the past couple of days. We'll just see, because that's been, we've been talking about this for a while.
This is Benzinga Live. Spencer Israel and producer AB. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Someone told me buy high, sell higher. So.
Let's get Matt Hammond on the show to talk some IPOs. Jake Wojasek from Trendspider. We have a
breaking news. Alrighty, guys. So going into earnings for Tesla this year, I'm trying to play this on the downside. My problem is that the puts are still a little expensive right now. And what we've been trading high, like we've been at least in the past, I mean, we're on a daily here. Let's zoom in, I guess, in the last like week or so. We've been in an uptrend. So I think my best bet for buying Tesla puts will be to wait till tomorrow afternoon. And if we're trading lower, or I mean, it's really, I could really buy some on Wednesday too. I mean, if we keep trading higher, then I could wait till kind of Wednesday before close. Of course, that will get me closer to that Friday expiration date as well, which will make the contracts a little bit cheaper. And then if you get that big move on the earnings, those can really appreciate very quickly. So definitely a little YOLO play that I've been watching. I'll keep you guys updated on that throughout the week, because right now I'm kind of sitting on my hands being patient, but I am looking to get into some of these Tesla puts at some point. Let's see. Easy Mike, dollar weakness. I mean, that's after weeks and weeks and weeks of the dollar being super strong. Easy Mike saying he's in SMH and Nvidia into the vote tomorrow. So yeah, let's talk about this. So Nvidia, we've been watching. Of course, we got the news that Nancy Pelosi and her husband made a new trade where they bought some more Nvidia ahead of this CHIPS Act, which is being voted on by the Senate tomorrow. So the act will essentially bring some more investments in the chip space. It will definitely be seen as bullish for a lot of these chip stocks. So whether you're looking at Nvidia, whether you're looking at the iShares semiconductor ETF, you can see these have gotten some love over the past few days after just being absolutely beaten down. I mean, you go back to our highs in January of 2022, the SOXX. Again, this is the iShares semiconductor ETF. We were at highs of about $550. That's come crashing down all the way to lows of less than 350. And now we've recovered some of that, and we're at 376. But I mean, still, if you're bullish semiconductors, now is a time where the charts have still been beaten down. You have been seeing headlines across the industry that some manufacturers think they're heading straight from a shortage of semiconductors to a surplus. So it could be interesting if we see a lot of these companies racking up inventory, kind of having trouble getting rid of some of the semiconductors as they've ramped up their production to meet demand. If demand wanes at all and they've been ramping up production, you're going to get this problem where now they're oversupplied and some of these stocks could be selling off. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like to me, I guess the Pelosi's are bullish. This deal's going to pass. I wonder if her trades coming out have any impact on the actual vote. Like if there's any maybe Republicans who are on the border and now they're like, well, if Pelosi's going to make a bunch of money on this. Maybe I don't want to pass this. So we shall see. All right, guys, I do see our first guest hanging out in the background. Jason from Trendspider will be joining us. Before he hops on, if you've got any tickers or anything you would like to check out, please let me know in the chat. Easy Mike saying exactly, LB selling into strength. J Rice, own Mara in the sixes, sell it when you can, not when you have to. Let's check out Mara. I haven't checked out Mara or any of these mining stocks in a while. So Mara's having a great day. I mean, this thing got down to $5 and now is at 10 in just a week. So Mara's gone up almost 100% in just a week or so. But this is one of those that, I mean, was just one of those high flyer crypto stocks that when Bitcoin was at all-time highs in November 2021, Mara was also at all-time highs. So it was above $80 a share. Got down to $5 a share. So you went from 80 to 5 in the span of about 6 months or so, eight months or so, we'll say. And now finally, the chart's getting some love. I don't know. I'm not really bullish any of these crypto names, at least not yet. I think we'll need to wait and see kind of with a lot of them to see if we get some love back. But I mean, again, if you're super bullish the space, and I mean you're already like down here, like start building the position maybe. I don't know. But I'm staying away from these cryptos. I'm staying away from crypto names right now and just kind of waiting to see what that outlook and landscape looks like in a few months. It's like taking a position before releasing a short report. Yeah, and I might be in the minority here, but I don't have an issue with that at all. I don't have an issue with research funds or whatever opening a position and then putting out a short report. I mean, because think about it, it's the same way on the long side. I can buy Mara right here and then put out an article, a tweet thread, a TikTok video, an Instagram post about why I think the company is so great and why I think investors are overlooking it. Should that be allowed? Of course. You should be allowed to buy something and then post about why you bought it and why you think the company is great, and vice versa. You should be able to go short a company and then post about why you think it's a shitty company. And if you're right, the market will, if your research is good, the market will reward you. If it's not, then it won't, and you'll lose money. So again, I see a lot of people talking about how, how that shouldn't be legal, that short reports shouldn't be able to profit, that they shouldn't be able to buy puts and then do it. I personally, I think I'm in the minority there where I don't really have a problem with it because, again, I think if you can be allowed and you should be allowed to do it on the long side, you should be allowed to do it on the short side. SMH is hot right now. Yeah, I mean, here, let's pull this up. This is the semi ETF. Go to a 5-minute chart here. Yeah, I mean, you can see just there's a lot of strength here. So keep throwing those tickers in the chat. I see Jeff wants to check out Exxon Mobil. Maybe we can check out Exxon with Jason, but it is 11:45. Let's go ahead and get Jason our very special intro and get him on the show. Jason, welcome back. You are now a recurring guest of Benzinga Live.
It feels good, man. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Had a good little weekend with the family, and now it's back to work.
Yes, sir. It is Monday. That means the markets. It means they decided, hey, let's open up this market again. Let's open up the stock market. Let's open the doors. Let's let these traders come in. What have you been watching?
Oh, all the usual suspects, of course. SPY, Qs, of course, futures, ES, and then Q. Crypto's got my eye for sure. And tech, I mean, like I was watching Square and a couple of the other big tech names.
Yeah, and if you want to go ahead and get some of your charts pulled up, I'd love to go see kind of what you're looking at from a technical standpoint.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right, so quick update on what we've got going on the news channels. CNBC, they're talking about boosting chip production, and then on CNN, they're talking about monkeypox cases rising in the U.S.
Interesting.
Doesn't look like the market's worried about the old monkeypox, but
there was a name that I was watching, kind of like a little kind of penny stock name. Let's see if I can find it here. That was SNGX Solgenics. This name had some potential to be a candidate for dealing with monkeypox, I believe.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly cheap, 67 cents.
It had some interesting strength over the last week. Essentially, you saw a move from 50 cents up into 70 cents. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, that is interesting. I'll have to keep this on my radar.
But it was coming into resistance. That 70 cent area, kind of like right in here, was definitely where I was watching to take some off because, kind of would expect it to kind of fail there, at least initially. And it did, kind of came up in and broke down a little bit. So you got a 10-cent drawdown. I mean, I don't really trade these penny stocks too much, but it's a big move, 70 to 60. That's like 13% or something.
Yeah, and then speaking of penny stocks, I see someone in the chat talking about EVFM. That's one that I've been seeing a lot on Twitter and Reddit over the past couple weeks. It's up
EvoFem.
Yeah, it's up 200% over the last month.
Jeez, what happened here? Let's see. I'm just gonna add some news and see if we can figure out. Anybody know why this moved the way it did last week?
I don't know. It had to be news. I know what the company does. We've had a woman on the show before actually talking about it. She was a big bull when it was at like $5 and it came all the way down below less than $1. But yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah, quite a move, huh? I mean, off those lows. This is what would concern me, is kind of off those lows, trading below anchored VWAP from those lows. So everybody who was a buyer in this big move is actually now trapped at that $1.03 level. So you really kind of want to see it get up and over that. I like how they took out these lows here, though. They took out this low and then immediately ramped it back, so they pulled all the liquidity out.
So I think EvoFem does some sort of like female reproduction stuff. So maybe Roe v. Wade has been was a catalyst for that.
Definitely.
I thought they made some sort of like topical okay. Yeah, maybe it's like a contraceptive that's like a topical cream instead of, I don't really know. I forget exactly what they do.
Got it. But that would make sense. I mean, that's a perfect place for a pump to come in a name like that off of that news.
Exactly. So let's see. So do you want to go ahead and pull up just like the Qs or SPY real quick and just kind of let's look at the overall market, because we've had now a couple days in a row where
yeah, so this was kind of every week we release like a little market update for the weekend blog post, and this is kind of what I was looking at last week, or like last Friday. You have this nice consolidation kind of thing going on. You've got on the Qs, you've got a gap up to 299. You kind of anticipate that's going to fill. Kind of surprised that they haven't taken out these highs yet. Like you really kind of want to see them take out. Let me just remove all this stuff. You want to see them take this out right here. You want to see them take out these highs. You want to see them gain it, and maybe they gain it and then fill this gap up in here at 299 and then kind of pull it back a little to make the next move. You've got your anchored VWAP from near-term highs at 310 or so. I mean, for weeks, I've just been eyeballing kind of this level, this like 303, kind of where we consolidated up here before we failed. We have not come back to test where we failed. And so my expectation would be a move to 303 before we see much more weakness. I mean, obviously, we've got a couple of gaps up over the past two sessions, but we've got this gap to fill. I'm expecting 302.5 or so, and then maybe a little bit of a pullback. And then we'll just kind of see what happens from there. On SPY's a little bit weaker looking. I mean, it's almost the exact same chart, but just slightly kind of weaker looking to me. still hasn't made a new relative high, so that's problematic. It made a lower low in relative to this one. It could just kind of flag out and then go higher. And then I'm really watching that 406 area, kind of up in here, 406 to 408, kind of again where we distributed up here, failed, and we have not come back to test. So I'd probably be pretty willing to take a big swing around 407, 408, take a short position and maybe try and get it back in, depending on how price ends up, kind of playing out. If it makes its way back up into this 407, 408 level relatively quickly, I'd definitely be looking for a move back into 391. So it'd be like a 18 point move if we could get it. They could definitely come in and take out these highs too, which is what bulls want to see. Bulls, you want to see these highs get taken out, because that would like really, really start turning things more in the direction of bulls. They would probably end up bringing it back lower, right? 390, 400 somewhere, depending on how long that takes and what that pattern looks like. But if they can take out these highs, that would be really, really interesting to me, for even start considering like some actual long-term positions.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's so interesting right now, like looking from the Qs to the SPY, is that for the past few months or so, tech and like the semiconductors and all that have been the weakest, and now over the past like week or so, as we've turned around, some of those have actually showed the most strength.
Right. And I mean, classic rotation, right? I don't know how many energy names are in S&P 500, but my guess is that there's more energy in S&P than there is in the Qs, and that might be what was causing the SPY to be a little bit stronger in comparison. But again, I don't know that to be absolutely true, but that's kind of always what I figured.
Right. No, and I think that makes sense. Okay, so Jason, I'm seeing some tickers in the chat that people want to check out. Should we take a few tickers from the chat?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, so Quantum wants to check out ELY, Callaway Golf.
All right. Ooh. I mean, let's go to a bigger time frame here. All right, so on a bigger time frame, it looks a little bit better. Okay, so you've got kind of your trend start down here. We extend, we come back, and we've tested it. We're holding this low. So, if you're wanting to be long here, I'd kind of be long off of this like 19.5 level, just based off of kind of where it's coming from. It wouldn't shock me to see them come and take out these lows first. That doesn't mean that they have to, but for a decent move back to the upside, kind of what my expectation would be is that they would come down into this 1475 and take out all these lows, because you've got a bunch of people with stops just down here. I mean, that's 25% away, a little bit more than 25% away. Let me go to a weekly here and just kind of see. The weekly just looks terrible, right? Like you're just consistently in a downtrend. You're making lower highs. You're making lower lows. Hard to be long in this sort of looking chart. You do have a little bit of, I don't know if you just saw what I did there, but the Brian Shannon anchored VWAP handoff methodology. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but you anchor from a relative high, you look for where price last tested and then failed, and you anchor again. So we're kind of anchoring here, and then we see it last tested right here, and so we anchor again. And so what you've got essentially right here and then right here, this is kind of a bit of change of trend, right? You're actually seeing price closing above anchored VWAPs from this relative high, where it could not close above anywhere in here or anywhere in here. So this is the potential of a change in trend. You do have a higher low. I guess if I were to go, let me go to a smaller time frame here. Move this guy, move this guy. Go to the daily. Yeah, so this is kind of where I would be probably taking some off if I had been long, kind of in here, around $22. About the same. It's kind of a similar idea to what I was just talking about with SPY and the Qs, where you have a little bit of that consolidation. In this place, it's a distribution area, and then they fail below it and take it quite lower. We haven't come back and tested where we failed, so that's kind of what looks like what we're doing now. So a couple of different ways that you could play it. You could play the failure here potentially. If you're more bullish and you want to kind of wait to see, you would look for this 23 area to get tested and gained. Maybe they come up and just kind of take out all of the stuff that's up here. If you have people that are short that have stops up here, price could come through that, take those guys out, and then pull it back. And then on that pullback, once it starts to show some support, then maybe a potential long position. There isn't really a ton untested. Maybe around in here might be interesting, 2075 for a long. But again, it would take a little bit of time. I think it's for me, it's a little too close to resistance to be trying to go long. So I would be waiting to see, what it does when it gets there. Does it fail? Does it get above these previous highs? If we can get above these previous highs, then I'd be looking for a pullback to go long into.
Got it. How about let's check out Coinbase. You mentioned you were looking at crypto, kind of checking it out. Looks like Coinbase is making an interesting move today.
Coinbase is definitely making an interesting move. I mean, Coinbase, I don't know how Coinbase should be affected by crypto doing better. I think crypto has not a ton more upside, but it does have some more. Wow, Ethereum just ripping right now. So this is kind of my target on Ethereum was 1730 or so. Same exact idea as everything else, right? You have this distribution area. We fail below it. Price needs to come back and test and see if this is going to fail, which would be the expectation. So I've kind of got like 1700-ish targets on ETH. Sol is looking pretty strong here, trying to make some new relative highs. Its chart is quite different from ETH, but this is kind of the same spot, that $44, which was kind of my target on it, about $44. Bitcoin, anywhere from 25.5 to 28, and again, it's all the same kind of concept, right? We're just coming back into areas that we lost, testing back into areas that we lost. So would not be a shocker to see Bitcoin and the like rally. I suppose that if all of the cryptos rally, it would make logical sense that coin would too. I don't maybe into here, $77. Let me go to a bigger time frame. No, let me go to weekly. So this might be kind of interesting. I mean, we're getting up in there now, 65. And yeah, 65 and 79, somewhere thereabouts is kind of where I would be kind of looking. You've got an anchored VWAP from your, what's this? This is mid-March, end of March highs is at 76. So yeah, I mean, I think crypto does have a bit more room, ETH I think's got $200 left on it. And that's what, 12%, something like that.
Yeah, more than 10. Yeah.
Solana's got another $2 at least. Solana has been the strongest of the bunch, so I would be eyeballing it like as maybe being a first mover. It's interesting to see ETH kind of taking the lead here, and Bitcoin's got probably another, $3,000 to $5,000. I think that it could gain before finding some real resistance. So again, that's 10, anywhere from 10 to 15% on Bitcoin still to go. So yeah, I mean, it would be a pretty decent reason to be bullish on Coinbase. But what was their earnings? August 9th.
That's
so you've
all
got
August.
so you've got time there.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder too with Coinbase, like it's like you said, just in the short term with Bitcoin and Ethereum, if they keep running, Coinbase will keep running too. But you go back to Coinbase's last earnings report, like I think it was terrible. Yeah, if you look at it, what it did in May. So it'll be interesting to see how people are trading Coinbase into earnings this year, which again is a couple weeks away, but still coming up, still on the horizon.
Well, so I guess the question about the value of Coinbase, is the value of Coinbase based off of the value of crypto, or is the value of Coinbase based off of how many people are trading crypto? I'm not sure. I would assume that the value of Coinbase is based off of how many people are trading crypto, right? Because they're making all their money off of the transactions. I at least I assume. I don't know that to be absolutely true.
Yeah, I think what they've found is that maybe that trading volume goes up when the coins are going up though. So like
100%.
when Bitcoin was at its all-time high, trading volume was at its all-time high. And
100%
since
chance. 100% chance. I would absolutely believe that. The question is how many people saw this move coming 5 days ago? How many people saw this move coming 3 days ago? How many people are going to realize that this move has happened when it gets here? Like, how many people are going to FOMO in right when they should be selling, right when everybody's selling, you know? That's the big question. If you have like an increase in trading numbers or whatever in transactions, that's not gonna that may affect the balance sheet this quarter. I don't really know, but I think for the most part, people have been way too scared. Like you even were just saying moments ago, you're not touching crypto yet, right? You're not ready to do that.
not yet. Yeah, I'm still scared.
And you're looking at the markets every day thinking about this stuff. Think about Joe Schmo on Coinbase, who, either just got wrecked, has been getting wrecked for months, and maybe has already just like sworn it off, says I'm never doing crypto again. Or maybe, I just think that somebody who's not watching this stuff all the time, what's very likely to happen if price gets back into here, it's probably going to sell, and it's probably going to get very loud. Like, the bull is back. I mean, we saw it this weekend with the NFT marketplace. I don't know if you follow NFTs, but like NFTs were going crazy this weekend, generative art and these sorts of things.
Yeah.
And like lots of speculation. I just have this feeling that the louder it gets, the more people are like, the bull is back, Ethereum's back, Bitcoin's back. The louder that gets, the more likelihood of a sell-off. I think that this is just a technical, nice move back into the last place that we tested. If we get a move above all of these highs here, kind of through here, like if you see Ethereum back into 2200, then you can start saying like, wow, it's actually taking out some previous highs. If a move back into 1800, even though it's a huge move off $1,000 lows, is almost 100% move. I mean, a smart trader is buying this thing at $1,000 or at $900 and looking for the move back to 1800, because that's a massive freaking move. So I would expect, I mean, we'll see, who knows? Maybe the bull is back, but I would be way, way, way more expecting, if we get this move, that they come in and they pull it all the way back. That's what I would expect
On crypto.
Yeah, if especially if it goes quick, like if this just happens really, really quickly, I would totally expect it to come all the way back, because look at your base here. This is a month and a half, or even maybe more than that. June 13th through July 18th. So this is a month. This base is a month where you traded between $900 and $1,200. That's a 25% move, right? From top to bottom, essentially. And you've already now gone 1,200 to 1,500. So you've added 250. It's like another 20% in 3 sessions. Like, you had to base for a month and you've already added almost the same percentage in 3 sessions. They're going to, I have to assume that they're going to correct it. Like, cause they just have to, it just price. This is like I would expect that this move is happening too fast. This base makes a lot of sense, but this Yeah, especially if they bring it up into like 1700, from 1200 to 1700 in 4 or 5 sessions. It's just a massive move that I would absolutely anticipate them coming back to where they broke out from, sooner than later. Now, if it holds there, then we could talk, then that would be interesting, and that might suggest, hey, this base is actually legit and it's holding, and you start seeing a move back to the upside. You guys were talking earlier before I got on about the dollar. I mean, the dollar is what it's all about right now, right? Like the inverse correlation between what the dollar is doing and what stocks are doing. The dollar got super extended, the dollar's taken a breather, and stocks are benefiting from that breather, as is crypto.
So we're
It
looking at the we're looking at the US dollar bullish chart here,
Yeah,
UUP.
so this is the UUP, like the index that tracks the dollar. Um, it would be so logical for price to come back into 28 here. And that's not that far from where we're trading. I'm not sure how that equates with the dollar itself, but I think the dollar is at like 107 or something like that, the DXY. It would make so much sense for price to come back into this. This is just extended. And it's the same type of idea that we were talking about with crypto. You make this big move in a very, very short period of time against this like consolidation phase. That big move has the tendency for price to come back and test, because there's nothing really supporting this. There's no volume there to like hold price. You just essentially, this is just like fear. This is just FOMO happening. People, just getting scared that they're going to miss the move on the dollar. And so they're buying these crazy prices. And that's exactly when price has a tendency to correct. So where would it correct to? Correct to where it kind of broke out from. That's pretty logical, right? Kind of right in here. This, some traders would call this like a cup and handle sort of looking thing. I mean, to me, it's just, you made some highs and then you finally broke out of them. And what would make sense is for price to come back in. So I think all eyes are going to be on the dollar. If the dollar has a couple more days of like really big weakness like this, I think crypto keeps moving. I think stocks keep moving. I think all that stuff happens. And then we're just going to watch the dollar and see what the dollar is going to do.
So wait, going back to the overall to the indices like the SPY and Qs, do you see something similar there as what we were looking at with Ethereum and Bitcoin, where if we keep going up, you think quickly that we're just going to give up all those gains and make new lows?
I don't know about new lows. I mean, to me, the SPY and the Qs look a little bit cleaner, or a little bit nicer, maybe than than crypto. But yeah, it's the exact same idea. I mean, it's totally the exact same idea. You had these areas. I mean, the Qs here, or rather, this is the SPY. The SPY is playing with this 390 level. 390 level is super important on SPY. You came in those early lows that you made in May. It came down, tested, it gained, it made a new high, and then immediately failed them. And now it's having trouble with that 390 level. So my anticipation would be, if we continue, you're going to come back and test this stuff where we gained that 407 level. We're going to come back and test this. And my expectation would be to fail here. I don't know if the low's in. I mean, I don't like the idea of trying to guess that the low's in, but I would expect, especially if we make it up to 407 quickly, I would expect a pullback, at the very least, a pullback into where we broke out of, and then maybe a move higher, something like that. There's a lot of different ways they could play it, though. They could come up and take out all of these highs, and then potentially you could do something like that, right? It's all about what they do on the way there. And, we don't know what they're going to do on the way there. I think the longer that they let price action kind of like consolidate, the more likely the move up and out has real strength. The faster if they take it into these areas quickly, then that gives me more of a reason to think that they're going to just send it back. At the very least, send it back and test some of this stuff down here. That could potentially be tested. And then, who knows what happens if they do that? Maybe they fail here and go lower. Maybe they gain this and come back and test and then go higher. Who knows? It's just a matter of, I kind of have these really big levels in mind. And I just see kind of what they do when they get to these big levels. So 390 is a big level to me. They need to gain 390 because it's just been essentially like the line in the sand on the Qs for since May. If they can gain 390, then we can maybe see 407. We can maybe see 415, 417, somewhere thereabouts. If they and then it's just about how quickly they get there. If they get there real quick, then I anticipate that you'll probably get more of a reaction, like a downside reaction if they get there really, really quickly. So we go back to ETH. Just click on it over here. We go back to ETH. Shoot, sorry.
Yeah, and I'm seeing Patrick Starr in the chat saying this rally is different since it's not a big rally, unlike the other months. What do you think about that, Jason?
A rally on what?
I think he's just talking about the overall rally in the markets.
I mean, I think a lot of people say that it's the dollar. It's all about the dollar and the inverse relationship that the dollar has to equities and any risk stuff. If the dollar is weak, then as of, not all of recorded history, but the past maybe 15, 20 years or so, JC Peretz from All Star Charts, he's the man that talks about the dollar and the inverse relationship between the dollar and stocks and just risk assets in general. I think it's all about the dollar. If the dollar continues to show weakness, maybe on the dollar you get, again, I'm not assuming this is going to happen. I'm just like, I always play through scenarios in my head, and just kind of come up with ideas based off of scenarios that I guess could happen. But, maybe they bring it down into this old area of resistance and maybe they bounce it back. And then the question is, if they bounce it, what happens? Do they go and they make another new high? Do they keep that trend intact? Because all we have here is higher lows, right? I'm just kind of pointing to all the lows and higher highs. This thing is in a solid uptrend, continuously making higher highs and higher lows. So if they come back and test where they broke out from, that's logical. And then what do they do? Do they come and make a new high on the dollar? Because if they do, then your expectation is when it pulls back, it probably holds a higher low and continues higher again, right? The trend tends to stay intact. However, if they come into these highs and they fail, something like that, and then they go down and they make another low, a new low against the previous low that they put in, then you have the recipe for like, oh, hey, we have a change of trend. We were making higher highs and higher lows, and now all of a sudden we've come down, we've made a potentially lower high, and then we've come down and we've made a lower low. And then your expectation is to continue in that methodology, right? And it could always change, but let price action kind of lead the way for you. If they fail and don't take out this high and start sending it lower, then you can start thinking like, okay, they're probably going to target this low. And then you can look over here on the left side of the chart for where they might target. They're probably going to target where price had found support previously, because you have people who have their stops. You have longs who have their stops there. So then you would expect that, right? You would expect them to come in, take out lows, and then as soon as they pull all of this liquidity out of the market, they turn it back around. This is why trading is so hard, because the times when it's time to buy they feel the hardest. You never want to be buying against new lows, but you kind of do have to buy against new lows because you know that all the liquidity is right there. It's the same as selling against new highs. If you make a new high here, you know that, yeah, we're probably going higher ultimately, but we probably first, before we go higher, we probably first have to test back and make sure that those previous lows we put in will hold. And so, it's always hard for me. It's really hard for me to buy breakouts. I've just learned not to, because what usually happens is price breaks out, and that tells you, hey, yes, we are still in trend. We've made a new high. But first, before we continue higher, we probably need to go back and test something back here to make sure it's going to hold so that we can make another new high,
Right. And just what you said there about how in the times where you really should be buying, it often feels the hardest. I think that's what a lot of investors and traders, struggle with the most, is just the fact that it's, in theory, it's easy to say, okay, yeah, this stock is down. Now is a good time to buy it. But then when we get hit with that, I mean, think about something like ARKK, right? If you took the retail sentiment of ARKK when it was at, 150 bucks or whatever, people loved it. And then as it dropped down to 40, people started to hate it. And then it's like, all right, when you get down to 40, that's when you should be buying. But instead, now the sentiment, the judgment has been clouded, and you think, oh my God, this is terrible, and you don't buy it. And now,
Mm-hmm.
in the past, just month or so, we're up 10%. If you would have been buying this at 37, 38, 39 bucks, now we're at 45, you're already up a good amount.
Right. Yeah, it's the whole zig when they zag routine, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm seeing in the chat, I don't know how much longer we can you can hang out for, Jason, but Cindy wants to check out AMD, and she's being very polite and said please. So we got to help out Cindy here.
Yeah, let's help out Cindy here. So AMD, let me see. Let me just remove all my stuff here on AMD. Now, first thing, I was talking to a couple of folks. Okay, so I don't know if anybody here follows me, but if you do, you know that I host on Thursdays. I host a show with a professional trader every week. We take chart requests. This past week, I was on with Sarah Strat Sniper. We were talking about AMD. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The hardest time to buy is the best time to buy. You come into all of these lows here, specifically this one. You have this big pivot low right here, and I'll even circle it for you right there. You have this big pivot low, the big pivot low that took you up to the all-time high. And what did they do? They came in, and they undercut that low just barely, just enough to to take out all the stops, right? You had a bunch of longs who had stops just below that low. They wick you through it, they take out all those stops, and they immediately run it back. Classic behavior, right? So now we're coming into an area you would have expected that to bounce. You would have expected that to kind of work, and it would have given you something really nice to trade off of too. If you went long, you could keep that stop pretty tight, right? With that in mind, you're coming into a couple of things that could be troublesome. This 85 level, again, that same idea that I keep kind of going over, the level that we lost, the most recent level that we lost. And maybe we tested it here, but we didn't really test it because we kind of gained it, or we kind of failed to gain it. So this 85 level to me is pretty important. If you can get up and over that, we'll go to the daily here. You can see kind of on the daily why it is even more important to me. If you're able to get above it, then maybe that supposes that you're going to make a new relative high versus this 88 area.
Yep.
Right. And then, then what's the expectation? Well, then the expectation is just like what I said. If you make that new relative high, then you probably are going to pull back. Where do you pull back to? It's hard to say. You could pull back to this 88 or 85 level. You could pull back to in here, kind of maybe fill this gap. There's a lot of different things they could do. So you can't knife catch. You got to let it kind of play out and do its thing. But once it kind of starts looking like it's bottoming, then maybe you're willing to take a long position if they're able to hold it either, in here, either off of here or in here somewhere, something like that. If they start taking out this low, you could trade off of this low. You could have your stop down here at this low. If you buy a pullback, that's a reasonable place to have a stop. And then you can look for upper levels to fill. I mean, you have a gap up here in that 94 to 92 area. Got a big gap there. And then another level that I see is kind of in here. Kind of that 99 psychological $100. That makes sense. So what have we done? I mean, we've made a higher low on the daily. We've made a higher high. That's nice in the short term. in the maybe a little bit more intermediate term, we're still not making new highs, and we're still technically making lower lows. So we're still kind of in a more intermediate term and longer term, downtrend. So you just have to stay on your toes with this. Hard to be long here, personally. I think hard to initiate a long position here, because I think your upside is limited to maybe $3 or $4 before you see at least some sort of pullback. So I would be looking for maybe a short opportunity up around 88. I would be looking for a short up here. Price comes, takes out this high, especially if the dollar continues to stay weak. Price comes, takes out this high, and then pulls back. So I'd be looking for a short opportunity off of that, if that happens, and then a potential long opportunity somewhere in here, like 88, somewhere around $80, $79 to $82, somewhere in there. That's where my head would be at on it.
Yeah, and that's what I think too with the chips in general right now, is that everyone wants to get super bullish right now. People are pointing to the Nancy Pelosi saying, "Oh my God, now's the time we got to buy Nvidia and buy AMD and all this." But I mean, I don't know. I think, I need some more confirmation. I need some more time. It's like with crypto for me. I just have seen how weak these things have been. Over the past year or so. So to get in right now, I think I would want to wait a little bit longer.
I don't think that's unreasonable, man. I think that even if it does, this is SMH. Even if SMH does continue extending, you have COVID low anchored VWAP to worry about. That's at 227. So that's only about $9 from here. That could be problematic. I think they're going to give you more opportunities later. I think buying into where we're at right now is kind of difficult. Not to say that you can't do it, but it's really all about your time frame too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to buy AMD right now and hold it for 10 years, then who cares
Sure.
if you buy it now or you buy it in 3 weeks or whatever. But
Right.
just in terms of looking at their chart, I'm over here thinking, okay, like I want to see, like a couple. I need like 3 weekly candles in a row closing green
Yeah.
before I feel good about saying, okay, the trend is reversed.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, it's the same deal in NVDA. You're coming into kind of those previous highs right now. We're on 169, 170, somewhere in there. If you can get above this 173 level, that would be pretty huge. That would be quite interesting, but I wouldn't be going long there. Like, if it's able to get above it, then I'd be looking for a pullback and trying to go long off that pullback, which I think would make quite more sense and be a quite more profitable trade.
Got it. Well, let me check out the chat, see if we've got any more tickers we want to check out before I let you go, Jason, because I know we've had you for a minute. The VV, I don't know what this name is, but they're saying, what's Jason's podcast or show?
Okay, so on Tuesdays I host on Twitter a chart or a trade ideas show. So it's Trendspider trade ideas show. We always have 4 traders on. They give us 2 ideas each. That's Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. And then on Thursdays on the Trendspider YouTube, Trendspider TV, we're on at 8 p.m. Eastern as well. This week we're not doing any of that stuff. Our head producer is on vacation for the week. So we're not doing any shows like that this week. I am going to be live. I'm live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, a couple hours each of those days in the afternoon, 2:30 to 4:30 Eastern time. And, talking about the Trendspider platform, taking chart requests, looking at new indicators, running scans, just kind of answering general Trendspider questions or chart related questions. I'll be around today, Wednesday, and Friday if anybody wants to come and hang out.
Sounds great. Yeah, we'll get some of those links posted in the chat. Stock Hodl wants to check out Tesla.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Tesla, for me, Tesla is wait and see. Kind of talked about this quite a bit in my live streams as well. You're just in this consolidation period. We don't know what this is. We don't know if this is distribution or accumulation. It kind of looks like it could be accumulation, but we won't know. And I really be shocked if they do anything substantial with this before earnings. You've got earnings on the 20th. If you're not in a position in Tesla right now, I would just wait and let it be. No reason to get into this thing because we don't know what those earnings are going to be like. I don't know if like the Twitter deal is going to affect these earnings or like how that works. We don't know how that's even going to play out. Is he going to get fined? Is he going to like, we just don't know. So I would be on the sidelines on this. I would let earnings happen and I would see kind of what happens after that. If earnings are, if price action is positive post earnings, we're going to know it, right? We're going to take out kind of all these highs around 773, and where it goes, I have no idea. But if it starts gaining, I would be looking for maybe a failure in and around that 870 or 850 level, kind of somewhere in here. So I would be looking for something like this, a pullback and then a move back to where we consolidated all through here. If price gets a nice move to the upside, I would expect at some point it's going to pull back. It's going to give me another opportunity to get in at a better price. And, after the confidence is in place, because presumably if price does extend up here, or if it does gain here, that means confidence in the ticker, right? So if you get a pullback, that's kind of where I would be looking to buy. With earnings, I have a really hard time. I've never done well playing earnings, so I've just learned to sit them out. The downside or the opposite idea is if earnings are bad, you're probably going to break below all these lows. You're probably going to take this stuff out. So then same idea, but just reversed. You get a move to the downside. Maybe it starts fading, making new lows. At some point, we get a move back into this area that we had consolidated over the past quarter. And then I'd be looking for a short up once we did that.
Yeah. Well, if you think Tesla's going all the way up to 870, then we've got a ways to go on there.
Well, I'm saying that this is just your last real area of consolidation, right? Same idea. You consolidated, and then you broke down, and we haven't really come back to see, is this consolidation actually going to act as resistance? If we look left, we see the same exact look. We see consolidation, breakdown, but what's different is we tested right here. Like we came back and we tested to see if this consolidation stuff would actually act as resistance, and it did here. And then we made another leg down. Whereas here, you don't have that. You don't have that test back. Like this isn't enough. You need to come back in and really test it and see. And that hasn't happened yet. So, and you could see it up here too. You consolidated, you broke down, you came back, you tested and failed, right? You see kind of the pattern that is being created. You fail, you test, you fail. But here you didn't really do that. So if you get a move to the upside, I think you probably see a bit of a pause kind of in and around that 860 area. So if you're long into the earnings and they're good, this is kind of like an initial where I'd be a seller. You also have your anchored view app from all-time high April 4th. You got anchored view app at 788.81. That could be a problem area too. That aligns pretty much with your consolidation highs here.
Yeah. So we'll keep watching, and that's why this episode today is mainly about Tesla and Tesla options, because we've had a lot of people in our audience asking about heading into the earnings, how people are trading Tesla options. So Jason, thank you for coming on with us today and checking out charts with us.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, and love to come back anytime.
Of course, we'll reach out. Jason, enjoy the rest of your Monday and have a great week.
Cheers, man. You too.
Cheers. All right, guys, that was Jason Krutzky from Trendspider. I'm going to go ahead and drop that link in the chat. Go check out Trendspider if you haven't already. Jake and Jason are both great coming on the show. So always a pleasure to get them on, having them run through charts with us. So going to drop that link in the chat. And then as always, let me know what stocks you guys are watching, what trades you guys are making. Let's talk about So we talked about some Tesla charts with Jason, but now let's talk about some Tesla just overall kind of company things. So if you guys noticed the thumbnail today, it's will Elon leave Tesla? So there's been more and more mutterings about Elon potentially leaving and potentially what could fall out from this Twitter lawsuit. So I want to roll through some kind of potential, outcomes from this Twitter lawsuit and why there are some out there that think it could even result in Elon leaving Tesla. So right now, Tesla is getting ready to report earnings. We've talked about this. This will be on Wednesday. Going to be reporting this report. Elon has already come out and said that this quarter has been a tough quarter, so kind of laying the bar down for a potentially like not so great quarter. We shall see. Sorry guys, hold on. Let me just get my Benzinga Pro pulled back up. As of right now, there's no legitimacy to any of the rumors that Elon is getting ready or gearing up to leave Tesla. But what some legal experts, including Matt Levine from Bloomberg, has laid out are different scenarios that could result in Elon Musk being forced to either buy Tesla or pay potentially billions of dollars to get out of the Tesla deal. And here's the thing: when Elon was going to buy Tesla or buy Twitter for $54 billion or whatever, there was only a certain amount that was coming out of his pocket. There was only a certain amount that Elon Musk would have had to go sell Tesla shares to afford this Twitter purchase. Why? Because he was going out and getting all these other investors that were out there that were like, yeah, I have a lot of money. I like Elon Musk. I'll help Elon buy Twitter and hopefully make some money off of it. So that was what was happening was Elon had all these people ready to gear up and help him bankroll this purchase of Twitter. Guess what? If it's just that he has to pay a $5 billion fee, boom, that he doesn't have investors ready to help him write that check. So, another scenario that Matt Levine laid out was one in which where he could potentially even be forced to buy Twitter, but then because of his breaching of certain things in the contract, be forced to buy Twitter, but then not be allowed to run it, which would essentially be like the funniest outcome to come out of it would be if he's forced to sell Tesla stock to buy Twitter. Basically, bottom line is the scenario that people are throwing out there, which could result in Elon being either stepping down or forced out of Tesla, is if Elon is forced to sell Tesla shares to purchase Twitter, and Tesla stock takes a big hit. You've already seen, employees from SpaceX and from Tesla outspoken about Elon's kind of antics, basically just saying he's not focused on the business. He's not, he's more worried about tweeting than he is about Tesla or about SpaceX. So if him selling Tesla stock causes the stock to crash, of course, that's going to hurt a lot of the Tesla employees that take options. So now they're basically going to say, okay, you guys are, or Elon selling Tesla stock. He's not acting in the best interest of Tesla shareholders. He's so focused on going out and potentially buying Twitter and getting into this whole lawsuit that he's screwing us over. There could actually be a shareholder vote that ends up putting pressure on Elon to leave. So certainly not anything to be worried about in the short term. But if you're a big Tesla bull, you got to wonder how long Elon Musk will be hanging around for. And let me roll, or I'm trying to find, I know it was in a tweet thread that Matt Levine laid out some of these potential scenarios. Tesla moving Bitcoin, helping it. I don't even like things move so fastly now. I don't even know if you're talking about a move to the upside or move to the downside. Because in the past 5 minutes or so, we've seen Bitcoin come down a fair bit from 22,700 now down to 22,200. Yeah, Kyler, that was also one of Spencer's big predictions that by the end of the year, Elon will not be the CEO of Tesla. It's certainly being more and more talked about. And just in terms of as far as like sentiment toward Elon, from what I've seen, and correct me in the chat if I'm wrong or if you've felt differently, but I've seen a big shift just in like the general public. Like I think his like big fans are still huge Tesla and Elon Musk fans. But I've seen the general public, I feel like, shift from viewing Elon as this like super smart, savvy, wealthy, genius businessman to a lot of people are just kind of like annoyed by him now, I feel like. And again, and maybe this is more my personal thing and not really what the public is thinking, but I'd love to get kind of the Q score overall popularity rating of Elon right now and see how that's like been affected over the past few months. All right, let's check out Shake Shack. Shake Shack's been making a nice move. You see this, we had support down here at 40 where we were kind of consolidating trading there and have bounced up. So we're up like almost 15% just in the past few days or so on Shake Shack. But this was a darling that has just gotten absolutely crushed. You go back on Shake Shack's chart, you look up $133 a share, and now we're down to 46. So Shake Shack certainly could get interesting. I don't know enough about this company. I don't think like I know enough about the company. Trust me, I eat there all the time. I go to Shake Shack like 2 or 3 times a week, honestly, like way more than I should. But I don't know anything about like what the company's revenue looks like, what kind of cash flow they're bringing in, if the stock is cheap or not. I mean, let's just look on Benzinga Pro. Let's go straight to the overview. We're gonna do our quick 2-minute DD. Price to sales 2.3, no PE yet. Let's go to our financials tab. So this is where I like to see on the income statement gross profit has been holding up. So that's pretty good because you'll see operating expenses for any company, let alone a food company over the past like 3 months or so has been just absolutely ripping higher the total operating expenses because you got to think not just inflation, you have the inflation of the food products the companies are buying. So for Shake Shack, the buns, the burgers, the potatoes for the fries, the soda, everything is getting more expensive. And then you also have to pay more for labor as well. So Shake Shack, you're seeing those operating expenses definitely increase going from, you look a year ago, 76 million in a quarter now to 97 million. So definitely burning more cash, but also making more, right? Go to the total revenue, 203 compared to a year ago, about 155. So almost a 25% quarter increase in revenue. So that's good that you're going the right direction for Shake Shack. From a chart perspective too, right? We pointed out that kind of level we had at the 45 where we were or at 40 where we were trading some consolidation there, and I've been ripping higher on Shake Shack since then. We still have ways to go. I mean, look back, this is just going back to April 2022. I mean, what is that? 3 months ago, we were at almost $70 on Shake Shack. So I don't know. I mean, like whoever asked about this in the chat, I don't know enough about the company outside of the fact that I eat there a lot. But I don't know enough about this from an investment standpoint to see if I really like it or not here. I will say, I mean, if you were like dying to get into it, you can buy some here and then put a stop loss right back here at 40. I mean, that's kind of a ways to go from 46 to 40, but you have it defined out here. Easy Mike saying they sold some CMG, bought some Shake Shack. Yeah, again, these food I mean, geez, look how expensive Chipotle was. $2,000. All right, guys, I do see my man Zunaid hanging out in the chat. So let's go ahead and bring Zunaid on the show. Oh, just like that.
I'll just go and bring myself on. But you know what? I've got a better camera angle for the viewers at home. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Well, pow, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Who doesn't like 2 ABs?
Double AB. What is up, everyone? Are we echoing?
Maybe
that's my secret camera angle. No one else is supposed to see.
Honestly, I just like this one better. You know what I mean? Like we get a little double chin action from the bottom. I like it.
No,
if you pick your nose, we have a good view of it. I mean,
I'm just gonna do this. There we go.
Oh, you went ahead and took the other one away.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
glad
supposed
you
to
don't-
remain a secret.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for exposing the secret. You know, it would suck if you mistakenly took your phone. I assume that's your phone, or is it your MacBook?
This?
No, I know. I can see the Apple logo. I'm talking about the view that we had. Was that from your phone hidden by the MacBook, or was it your MacBook?
No, that was from my MacBook.
Okay, I was gonna say if it was from your phone, it would suck if you went to use the men's room and you didn't realize you were on. You know,
That would suck. I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind that Zunaid's trying to do me dirty out here.
I'm not. I wouldn't put you on stream. Maybe I don't know. But anyway, what's up, man? What you been watching lately? How often do you eat at Shake Shack? Sorry, before we go.
A lot. There's one like literally, you can maybe even see it from this window, but like it's like maybe one of the closest things we have right to us. Like it's either Jimmy John's or Shake Shack are like my two fastest options. And honestly, like so Shake Shack for me, I always the biggest problem with it was people always talk about how expensive it is, but it's really not. Like I get a double cheeseburger and fries, and it's like $12. Like I end up sure, $12 is maybe a little expensive for that.
Yeah, whoa. What you mean that's not expensive?
Okay, no, but hear me out. But like,
what's your paycheck looking like?
No, it's definitely expensive for lunch. But all these other kids, and I don't know what it is, but like downtown Detroit, just things right around the office, like things are more expensive here. But like we'll go to like the food trucks, and I'll end up spending like $15 at the food trucks, and it's like I would have been better off going to. I would have just been better off going to Shake Shack. So I honestly have been going probably about 2 times a week for Shake Shack, but I am cutting down on that.
Yeah, I went to a food truck for 4th of July. We got rained out right around the fireworks, but I spent like $55 on food for 2, so dinner for 2. So I hear you on that end. Tiny Pie,
little date action.
What's up?
You on a little date?
No. Just hanging out with a friend. But CNBC blames you guys for inflation. This hasn't happened to me. So whenever I do my esports thing, I'm always like mic'd up or whatever. But like what is it called? The IFP, I guess, is just the audio component of it. And I always make sure to leave my mic because it's always hot, right? Even whether it's going to the arena or not, it's always hot to like in my dressing room area or whatever. I leave it there and then I go do what I got to do. So no, thankfully it has never happened to me, but I have heard of stories of other people that it has happened to, and it is horrible. But let me go ahead and share my chart here so we could talk some stocks. So you got any other guests coming on today? How long are you going on for?
We have about 15 more minutes left on the show today. No more guests coming on today. Yeah, I had a hot mic situation here at Benzinga a few weeks ago, but luckily
What'd you do?
So we were doing it was one of the list makers events. I did an interview and it went really well, and they took me off the screen. And as I was off the screen, I was like, God, I'm so fucking good. Or I was like, I'm such a fucking pro. And my mic was hot the whole time.
I guess that's better than being like, God, that fucking interview sucked.
I know. And that's what, like, honestly, like, I could have said that. Like, I think I did on Slack, like Slack someone being like, oh, this guy is like hard to interview or something. But then I said that after, where I was like, oh, I'm such a pro. And then I was like, oh, fuck. That was
nice. Speaking of which, matter of fact, you and I are doing boot camp. I gotta figure out what's going on with that.
Oh, that's Wednesday, correct?
That is Wednesday.
Yeah, no Benzinga Live on Wednesday. For all you folks keeping track at home, Wednesday we will be doing our very special Benzinga boot camp. We've got a nice Wednesday boot camp planned this week, Zunaid. I know you and I will be there. On top of that, we have Christian Fromhertz. We have Dave Matza from Direction. We will have Chris Capri. We will have Nick Shaheen, Matthew Tim Payne. We will have Anne Marie Bain. Great event plan. So I'll go ahead and drop that link in there. If you guys have not signed up for that boot camp, please do so. Otherwise, Zunaid and I will be in trouble.
Yeah, no, we definitely should. Sorry, I'm actually pinging. Sorry, can you invite? I almost sent AT being like, can you add this to my schedule? But that sounds like that doesn't sound appropriate.
Wait, what? Add what to your schedule?
The Benzinga boot camp, because I had scheduled something.
You just add it to your.
Well, because is there not like a show's invite thing?
Bro, I don't know what you're talking about.
Like we have a shows calendar, right? Where you get an invite for whatever shows we're on. Is that not how we do it?
Dude, you're going to have to talk to AT about that because I got no clue what you're talking about. All right. Hold on. I'm getting the link for the boot camp.
Oh, okay. I was about to say you about to get in trouble or something because of some dumb shit you said. Would not be the first time. But I'm excited, man. Wednesday should be fun. You and me hanging out, talking stocks. Of course, we'll let the experts teach, and then we can kind of recap things. That'll be fun. But what I'm going to show you guys the Apple chart because that's a position I am in. I am short Apple. I'm on the equities, and I'm also short via puts. Oh, hell no. I accidentally went ahead and nope, don't do that. Nope. Bringing it back. There we go.
Wait, you're short right now?
Yeah, I'm short off of the VWAP break. My stop loss is above 151.15s.
Deck, not a bad call from the guest to say I'm a lot better than Shake. Who was the guest this morning on pre-market prep? I wasn't watching. That's before my wake up time. Oh, Decker's Outdoor. Decker's Outdoor engages in the business of designing, marketing, and distributing footwear, apparels, and accessories available for every. Oh, Decker's. Yeah, they make UGG, Hoka. All right. So shoe company. Are you buying shoes right now, Zunid?
Dude, I actually okay. So check this out. I don't know if I can share my Amazon screen because I don't know if it has my information. I don't trust the internet to not send me wild stuff. Okay, you know what? Anyway, I went ahead and bought some ties and some vests. All right, I'm trying to look clean. I'm trying to look sharp. I've got an event coming up at the beginning of August. But I need to like see if I can get some nice casual shoes as well. So if anyone has Amazon links of shoes that you like, men obviously, feel free to DM me.
What type of shoes?
Like casual shoes. So like maybe something that I can wear with like, let's say, khaki pants, right? Or something I can wear with like black jeans or something like that. I don't know. You know, now
you need some like Vans. You need some of those black Vans with the white stripes on them.
Here's the thing. I don't like the white stripes at the bottom. I feel like I like all black or all white or whatever. I've actually never in my life worn all white. I don't think I'm fashionable enough for that. But I'm going to try though. You know, here's the outfit that I'm going to wear someday. And I can't believe we're talking about this. Spy, by the way, real quick, let me cover some of these positions. All right, I'm going to cover some Apple here. And the puts that I'm in, by the way, they're up a whopping 3%. I'm in the 150 puts expiring this week. I'm hoping that we can go ahead and test at least a 150.50 or something and try to get some downside. But you can see SPY rejecting, VWAP and headed down. But anyway, how about purple? No, I never in my life do I think I can pull off purple.
I think you could pull off some purple.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think you definitely can. Keep in mind, with my skin tone, I have to have different like shirts and things like that. But what are you watching there? You watching something that starts with a P? What are you watching?
I am. What am I starts with a P? What are you talking about?
Pepsi commercial.
Oh, the Kendall Jenner one? No, I've been watching Tesla this week. We're heading into earnings. Netflix, too. Netflix reports tomorrow after the close. 2 good days in a row for Netflix. You're now up more than 10% on the last week or so. I do think Netflix gets pretty interesting here because despite some growth slowing down in the business, it's still very much a company that generates a lot of cash, makes a lot of money. And if you add into this layer of a new advertising model that they're working on with Microsoft, I don't mind adding into a Netflix position for the long term here. I think the problem is that a lot of people have PTSD from the past 2 earnings reports on Tesla. So there are probably a lot of people out there that are, maybe on the fence that say, okay, maybe we should wait for Netflix's report this week. And then if it's good, we can get in. Because if Netflix's report is good, Zunaid, and the stock is up 20%, it goes from 200 to 240. Guess what? I'd still buy it at 240, knowing this was a $700 stock a few months ago. You're still getting it at a huge discount from where it is, even if it is a good earnings.
Look at the gap.
Yeah, you've got that big gap from the last earnings. You've got that gap from the previous earnings on top of that. So it'll be interesting here for sure.
Ooh, man. How do I? Interesting. I'll be honest. I am not the best gap trader in the world. I really am not. But I am excited though. Earnings season, like you mentioned. Hopefully we get some momentum. Hopefully we get some moves. But are you YOLOing anything though?
I bought. I
Are we
scaled.
YOLOing anything?
I'm scaling into some Tesla puts for the earnings on Wednesday, but I'm not gonna do it all. So I bought like one today, and then I'm gonna plan on buying more tomorrow. I wanted to buy one today just in case, like, because Tesla was doing so well today, in case like Tesla's down tomorrow. In addition to, but then like I can still buy some on Wednesday. The report's not until Wednesday after close, so I have like 2 more days that I can be scaling.
I
into
meant
this
more so for
position.
Netflix.
Oh, for Netflix, I would. I mean, it sucks because you're already up like 10% over the past 2 days, 2 trading days. But I would think there's more upside. I would think there's more alpha playing this to the upside than there is to the downside.
More alpha. Look at you.
Do you know what that means?
I'm gonna assume there is more movement, more edge. I don't. I know what an alpha male is, an alpha dog. That's really about it. Enlighten me. Teach me your ways. What does alpha mean in the context that you used it?
So it's essentially just like return. Like there's more return, more potential return.
There's more juice on one way or another,
exactly.
possibly.
There's more
Okay.
juice on playing
That's
this
what
on
I
the
thought.
upside. There's more
Yeah.
edge, exactly, than there is to the
Yeah.
downside. I mean, I could be wrong. There could be more there could be more juice to the downside. But I would think after 2 really bad earnings reports in a row, even though Netflix has come up a lot, you're still trading well off its highs. I think there's more juice. I think there's more alpha. I think there's more edge in trading it on the upside.
Should we have a bet?
Sure. You know, there's a really easy way we could place a bet on this. Like you could just buy a call and I could just buy a put, and then the market is the escrow. You know, whoever wins the bet is just rewarded on the contracts.
You actually want to, and we hold it through?
What'd you say?
I said, do you actually want to, and then we hold it through earnings?
Sure, but they don't report. Netflix doesn't report till tomorrow after the close, so we could wait till tomorrow. Super SPAC Man brings up a good point. He's saying, isn't that always the case? Since downside is only 0, upside is technically unlimited. Technically speaking, Super SPAC Man.
Don't be a smart one.
What?
I mean, yes, of course. I'm just saying he's being a smart aleck.
Oh, he is, and technically he's right. But in this context, what I'm saying is like I'm just talking about like playing it like, all right, time machine. If it's 2018 and we were just in a bull market for 10 straight years and Apple's getting ready to report earnings, how'd you know I was gonna say Apple? And Apple's getting ready to report earnings, I might have said there's more alpha in playing the downside because everyone's already expecting a great report. Like I just use alpha in that sense, like there's more alpha, there's more juice in like what's unexpected or whatever. So that's where I was playing it, saying no was a genuine question, did not understand the explanation of alpha. All right, I'll be honest with you, Super SPAC Man. This will be my homework for tonight. Because I asked Zunaid, and then when he asked me, I was like, I don't even really know.
What a moron.
I've just been using it the way I've seen other people use it.
Homeboy just has his own show and thinks he's such a badass. Look, here's the way I see it. Here's the way I see alpha. Okay, here's an example in chat. You tell me if it makes sense. You ready? Okay. Say you're flipping a coin, heads or tails, 100 times. All right. You're 75. After 75 flips, you have 20% that has been tails and 80% that's been head. To me, the alpha for the remaining 25 flips is towards the tails because it's a 50-50 odds. So that's how I see it in terms of where you believe the edge is on your bet. But what do you?
Oh, okay. Guys, this makes sense now. All right. So your alpha is just your SCL : R little I, comma little t minus R little f equals whatever this is, little I, plus weird B little I, parentheses RM, comma T minus RF plus E little I, comma T. So that is your alpha right there.
You want to do it? You want to do a math problem and then help him out? You want to do it? Go ahead.
I don't know what any of that means. No, but this seems to
He
be like
said little a, weird b.
alpha finance. Alpha is a measure of the active return on an investment. So I think it's literally just a return. Like you're literally just talking about the alpha of like the alpha in this trade. There's more alpha in this trade than that trade. There's more potential return. There's more return.
Yeah, you're replacing the term potential return when you use it in the context that you did.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to do more homework on this. Tomorrow we'll do you know what? That might be a new segment where each day we do AB's finance word of the day.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Get a little promo and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Sponsored by Merriam-Webster. AB's word of the day, margin call. Why are we talking about this today? Well, Zunaid, you tell us.
Have you been margin called this month?
Dude, no, I've never been margin called.
You've never been margin called?
No.
Wow. Lucky you.
I did watch the movie recently, Margin Call. Have you seen it?
I have seen just about every Wall Street movie there is, yes.
Really?
Uh-huh. Margin Call is the one where they find out overnight, right? And they have to like sell everything and screw
like the
else.
whole movie takes place over like a 12-hour period
12-hour
or something.
period,
It's got Penn Bad, the guy from
What's his name?
It.
Kevin something?
Kevin Spacey, yes.
Yeah, it's got him. There you go. Yeah.
Disgraced actor Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Demi Moore. Yeah, that one was solid. Obviously, Big
Jeremy
Short.
Irons.
I'm trying to remember my favorite. Well, the Margin Call was a pretty solid movie. I like that one.
I thought it was kind of boring, honestly.
Really?
Aaron Bryan's asking for of your movies. But I'm also like not the biggest fan. Like I like Wolf of Wall Street. It's not like one of my favorite movies ever. So I don't really know if I have any like finance Wall Street movies that I absolutely love. I've never seen Wall Street. I've never seen Trading Places. I've never seen Boiler Room. So I think there's a lot that I have to. I think I have to. I'm actually out of PDT prison, Voodoo. I'm chilling.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Also, I have this is not related to finance at all, but if anyone out there is like a scientist or knows science really well, I have a science question that I want to ask everyone. So I just got this new Hydro Flask water bottle off Amazon Prime Day. Shout out Amazon, one of our favorite sponsors, ticker AMZN. But the Wolf of Wall Street is about Quaaludes more than stocks. Yeah. All right. So anyway, my science question is when I put in like a dozen ice cubes, like individual ice cubes, how do they melt and then refreeze together? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like the bottle should either be warm enough that the ice is melting or cold enough that it's freezing. The fact that both happen in the same bottle doesn't make any sense to me.
Sounds like you found more homework for yourself, my friend.
No, I don't even want to do that homework. I don't want to delve that deep into the world of science. So I want to ask the people that know more about science than I do how that happens. So
I've got no idea, but I went ahead and posted in the chat the movies link and things like that. So you can check out that. Rogue Trader is pretty solid. Boiler Room's solid. But yeah, Rogue Trader was actually pretty good, if I remember it correctly.
I want to so I don't know if you saw this headline, Zunaid, but I guess so Goldman Sachs beat expectations this morning on their earnings, and the basically ice melts slower. What, AB? I don't even know what you're saying, Shelly. Anyway, they were saying that basically Goldman's bond trading department kicked so much ass that they made up for like all the other departments.
Yeah, IPOs and listings are down over 50, 60, 70%. I'm sure. That's my assumption. I don't have a fact behind it, but
no, yeah, the IB department, the investment banking department was way down, but their bond trading department was way up, and their bond trading propelled them to a good quarter. So I think it would be interesting to I would love to see like a video of their bond trading floor over the past 3 months to see how crazy that was, what they're doing. And I don't know if you know this, Zunaid, but the bond market is actually way bigger than the equities market.
What about the futures market though?
I have no clue.
Because the futures market, I assume, is bigger than the stock market. And then the bond market I've never messed with. I have no idea, but it is 101. I don't know if you have another show coming up or what.
No, yeah, we got Money Mitch coming up right now. It is time to wrap up. So, guys, go ahead and smash the like. We had our good friend Zunaid join us on the show. Shout out Zunaid. Shout out Z-Man. Smash the like if you have not already. We will be back tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. And then remember, no show Wednesday. We'll be back Thursday, though. So go ahead and smash the like. This show will redirect you to Mitch's show.
See ya.
Molecules like to bond together. Similar surfaces can just bond together.
He got tired of just reading it.
I don't know. I might try to bring on. I might try to find a 3rd grade science teacher to bring on the show tomorrow. Be like, all right, you got to act like I'm one of your 3rd graders. Explain this to me.
Have fun. I'm out.
Okay,
Bye.
Jay Rice saying bonds biggest, currencies next, then stocks. All right, guys, love you.
This is Benzinga